Our next interview partner is probably one of the hidden champions in the global travel industry. As the chairman of Orascom Development Holding, Samih Sawiris is operating fully integrated operations in roughly a dozen of destinations in the Middle East, in Europe. And as a private investor, Samih took over a majority stake in FTE Group, which is the fourth largest tour operator, just in April this year, which is of course somehow remarkable. Born in Cairo, studied in Berlin, and based in a cozy alpine village called Andermatt, Samih has a real cosmopolitan footprint, being quoted as a modern pharaoh in a few times in the financial medias. Thought this is maybe not the best explanation of what you're doing, but at least you can find it pretty often in the internet. Samih, thanks for joining the show. And just for starting up, as I said, you have developed a bundle of great holiday destinations. Which is your most favorite place in this special summer 2020, both as a potential holidaymaker and as a business person?
Well, this summer has been a bit tough, and it lured a lot of locals to these destinations. Like in El Gouna, for example, we've had an influx of thousands of Egyptians who were looking for medical safety, social safety, and still the chance to breathe and be free to move around. In Andermatt, the call by the government to the Swiss to do more inland travel has brought amazing results. We have never had a better year since we started in Andermatt. So it is actually the one exceptional destination where, contrary to what we would have expected, this year seems to be heading to be the best year ever. And this, by the way, applies also
in Andermatt.
to Gouna. In Andermatt, yes. The hotels are full, the real estate sales are doing well. And in Gouna, the hotels are not full because we're not getting foreign tourists, but the number of local tourists has almost doubled. And accordingly, the number of new buyers for real estate has also improved drastically over our projections. Everywhere else, I cannot report any good news. And on the travel sector, as you well know, we have been hit very badly. And if it wasn't for the German government bailout, probably FTI would have not been able to continue, just like TUI, with the difference, of course, that they needed much more money than we do because they're bigger and they are loaded with the two terribly hit sectors, which is the airline business and the cruise ship business. So they've had a bit more suffering. But at the end of the day, the travel industry has had its worst year ever.
I think we have to explain a bit of your business for the pretty less of our audience who don't know your company so well. You're not a classical touristic company, you're a travel company. You're doing fully integrated destination developments. Means it's a mixture of real estate, of destination development, and of course of hotel business, which is not running well this year. But anyhow, it seems you're performing better than...
doing well.
Yeah,
the town management is doing it, because at the end of the day, all these destinations get a critical mass of permanent residents. We give opportunities for businesses to start up there. So these people need more real estate and need more services. And after a few years, I mean, El Gouna today, I'm not even shy to say, is one of the towns of Egypt. You know, we have a population of 25 or 27,000 permanent residents. We have a university, we have schools, we have a library, music hall, everything that a typical town would have to enhance the likelihood of more and more people to move to this town. And the Corona business has helped us in this respect very much. We have today much more businesses starting up in Gouna. Many big business people have taken up offices to do business from Gouna. So these places become a town, just like Andermatt, for example. We didn't go there to build a hotel or two or sell a few houses. At the end of the day, Andermatt will become a full-fledged destination. And for that purpose, we even made sure that we operated the whole year. and not seasonal, because only full year operations can attract residents. And we want this village to go back to its original size a couple of 100 years ago, when it was more than double the population of today. And we have done quite a good progress on this. Today, I can name many families that have moved back to Andermatt and started businesses there.
You also just released half year's figures, which seems to be much better than the average of the industry. I mean, it's hard to announce it. It's a decrease of 26% of revenue still feels great, but at least when you take the average of the industry, it feels good, I have to say. Your gross margin is stable. So something is different. You said already you're not a hotel company. You're not a travel company. You're combining real estate and hotel. Is that what
and
helps
the services?
this year?
You know, we rent out tons and tons of shops and restaurants and offices, and that gives you a much steadier income than let's say the travel business does, or even the hotel business does. And then real estate as well is something that people buy independently of a crisis, of a medical crisis like Corona. It's almost the other way around. People feel safer, so they buy more. So that protected us. But then I must add that this company is resilient because it's had its share of experience in all the turmoils that it went through, you know, from the Luxor disaster to the financial crisis to the Arab Spring to this chaos now. So we usually tend to prepare for the next disaster. This has been part of the business plan of Orascom all along, that we insert in our projections a disaster year and make sure that we have enough funding to cross that year without a blue eye, or let's say with just a blue eye. That's the status.
Can you tell us a bit of your business planning? How you do it? Is it really agile? Is it spontaneously, or how to react on challenges like COVID-19, which of course completely destroy your hotel business for a while as well? Your hotels are have been locked down and closed, and so the challenges are the same for you as for all the other part of the travel industry.
Yeah, but we are a company that is majority controlled by a family, and therefore we think long term. So if you want to think long term, you sacrifice a bit of the present. For example, we see opportunities, we don't just go and grab them and take new loans to finance them. And then when we get caught in a storm like this, we run out of money and go under. We entered this crisis with 180 million Swiss francs of accessible cash to support the operations. We always have a plan of emergency, like cutting down on cost, unnecessary capital investments get shelved for a while. And to date, after a few months of the crisis, we still have those 180 million. So in a way, I think the preparation for crisis is really something where we excel in and has been proven before. The first time I got into a crisis, I practically lost the company. And that was a good lesson, because I had to bail the company out by selling my brewery and my winery and even the alcohol business. All of it had to be sacrificed to save Orascom. And I swore never again to get caught in such a situation again. And ever since, whenever we recovered after a crisis, the first job was to go down with the debt and make sure that you have access to cash if the next crisis comes. If it doesn't come, you just make more money and pay out some dividend. If it comes, you're ready for it.
We are on a European conference here, so let's talk about a little bit the governmental support in the travel industry we have so far. It's a lot of state loan, it's a lot of travel bans on the other side. Are the governments doing right, or is there anything to complain from your point of view?
Well, I mean, from the support point of view, I must say that I am deeply impressed with how fast and how strong the support in Switzerland and in Germany were. Both governments did an amazing job to bail out and help maintain jobs and maintain companies from collapsing, be it by loans, be it by indirect silent partnerships. But at the end of the day, you cannot say anything against the support that came from those governments. The principle of paying for people for Kurzarbeit, you know, so that they don't lose their jobs, supporting the companies. follow. That's had been also very helpful. But at the same time, the other group in the government that is more responsible for the social aspects like prevention, like protection, and so on, these guys were under massive pressure from the media to do much more and be much more aggressive, locking down, shutting down, whatever. And of course, this is a contradiction. In one hand, you're helping companies survive, but on the other hand, you're putting travel bans, you're putting restrictions, you're grounding planes. So there is a bit of a contradiction here. The good news is that governments within themselves will have to find a happy medium, because it cannot be you bail out TUI and FTI and then ban them from flying people by many, many indirect restrictions that lead to the people not being able to travel. Mm-hmm. So in a way, you know, we leave it to the politicians because this is beyond us, and we leave it to the media also to be a bit more, less aggressive about demanding unnecessary steps or aggressive steps that, curtail the livelihood of people.
Final question, Samih. Do you still believe in the future of the tour operating business in Europe?
Yes, because in a way it has been the most efficient model. You know, when you have a tour operator taking the full plane load, that means that the airlines can sacrifice the seats for much, much less value than when they take the risk. And when you have your people on the ground to take care of the transport of these people to the various hotels, that also becomes more efficient than 50 taxis. And when you have the tour operator negotiating with hotels, they get much better prices for the clients than if the client goes on his own and is bargaining with a hotel that has 100 alternatives at the same time. So this efficiency is still something that has not been undermined by any other model. So it will be a longer time. The challenges are, of course, to keep upping the service as more internet-based connection of flight, transport, and hotel keeps appearing. And therefore, the classic tour operator has to develop much more his kind of concierge service, as I call it, so that the traveler still sees value in going through a tour operator, because if he has a problem, he can call someone, or there is someone in the vicinity of where he's staying. If you have a problem based on an internet booking, good luck if you find anybody to talk to about your problem, you know. And this will continue to be the case.
Samih, what a great link to our next executive roundtable, A New World for Tours. Thanks for joining the show. It was a pleasure to have you on Phocuswright Europe. Vielen Dank.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.